like it when your character kind of looks like one thing and is the total opposite on the inside. There's something about that I relate to.
It's been a wild ride with the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard civil case. If you've been following the case, you may have noticed a lot of people do not believe the testimony of Amber Heard. In this video, I'm going to break down, in a nutshell, what it is that makes Amber Heard unbelievable for most people. And that is her inconsistencies and contradictions in her testimony. I'm going to show just a few clips that highlight what these inconsistencies are.
And I asked him about the tattoo he has on his arm. And to me, it just looked like black mark. It says wino. It says wino. And I didn't see that. I thought he was joking because it didn't look like it said that at all. And I laughed. It was that simple. I just laughed because I thought he was joking. And slapped me across the face. And I laughed. And he slapped me again. Like, it was clear it wasn't a joke anymore, but I don't know what else to say or do, so I just stared at him. I didn't say anything. I didn't react. I didn't move or freak out or defend myself or say, "What are you doing? You're crazy." I just stared at him because I didn't know what else to do. And he slaps me one more time. Hard. I lose my balance. All of a sudden, realizing that the worst thing has just happened to me that could possibly happen to you, I realized that I wish so much he had said he was joking. Because it didn't hurt. It didn't physically hurt me. I was just sitting there on this carpet, looking at the dirty carpet, wondering how I wound up on this carpet and why I never noticed that the carpet was so filthy before. No, I didn't want to leave him. I didn't want this to be the reality. I didn't want to have the man I was in love with. I know you don't come back from that. You know, I'm not dumb. I know you can't hit a woman. You can't hit a man. You can't hit anyone. And I wish I could sit here and say I stood up and I walked out of that house and I drew a line and I stood up for myself.
If you noticed in the first clip, Amber's description of the first time Johnny Depp hit her just comes off very odd and bizarre. Forgive me if this is off base, but if your significant other just slapped you twice across the face very hard, I think the carpet would be the least notable detail of that event. Additionally, she's trying way too hard to look sad. Like, her mouth is hanging down in a frown that looks very manufactured, and there's no tears, although she seems like she's crying. So this is one of the things that makes people believe that she is overplaying or exaggerating the story.
He holds up this bottle to me, and you know, I'm saying, did you drink this whole thing? Something stupid.
On this clip, Amber Heard gestures with her hand that Johnny picked up a bottle. The way her gesture is, it looks like she's acting out that account. So that comes across as odd. And then when she says, and I asked him, did you drink this? It's almost as if she inverted the story. She's the one that probably grabbed that bottle and, you know, initiated this fight. It's just her words and her narration and the body language are just not congruent here.
And how did you come to the understanding that on some occasions Ms. Heard physically abused Mr. Depp?
Ms. Heard reported that.
What did Ms. Heard report to you?
That it was a point of pride, two things. It was a point of pride to her if she felt disrespected to initiate a fight, and her father had beaten her. She was not going to. And the second, one is what she reported to me, which is if he was going to leave her to de-escalate from the fight, she would strike him to keep him there. She would rather be in a fight than have him leave.
Throughout the trial, Amber portrays herself as a victim of domestic violence. Sure, she says she's not innocent, but that she was only fighting back and that she was reacting to whatever Johnny Depp did to her, so reactive abuse. However, we hear in the testimony from their marriage counselor that Amber often initiated physical fights. And even in the audio that was shown in the trial, she admits to starting physical fights.
For divorce. I wanted him to know verbally. So I was trying to reach him through a third party to tell him. When I say reach, I'm specifically saying I would like him to know information coming from me or coming from Jerry, from me, so that he finds out about the divorce filing or my intention to do so from some other source other than TMZ, which was alerted.
Ms. Hurd, does your most recent answer mean that yes, you did send a text message to?
And while working for TMZ, were you involved in any assignments related to Ms. Hurd?
I was.
What was the first time you recall working on an assignment related to Ms. Hurd?
I believe it was May 27th, 2016.
And what was your role in that assignment?
For that, Ms. Hurd was filing a restraining order at a courthouse in downtown Los Angeles. So I dispatched camera people to that location.
And what footage was TMZ trying to capture at the LA courthouse on May 27th, 2016?
We were trying to capture Amber leaving the courthouse and an alleged bruise on the right side of her face.
What was your team of paparazzi supposed to do while they were at the LA courthouse on May 27th, 2016?
Their objective was to capture her leaving the courthouse, and then she was going to sort of stop and turn towards the camera to display the bruise on the right side of her face, the alleged bruise.
Did your team of videographers get the shot of Amber Heard?
We did.
Hey, Amber. Amber, did Johnny give you that bruise on your face? Did Johnny beat you up?
Now to the most talked about inconsistency and contradiction, Amber Heard's relationship with TMZ. She let it slip that TMZ had been alerted back in 2016 during her deposition, and yet she doubled down on not knowing that TMZ was involved in any way or that anyone in her camp was involved. On the stand, it's like she wants us to believe that Johnny Depp's people alerted TMZ, but why in the world would that be in his interest? If he is truly a domestic abuser, why would he want anyone to see any type of bruise or anything that could connect him to that? So it just doesn't make any sense. And then you get the testimony from Morgan Tremaine, which he confirms that Amber is supposed to stop, look to the camera, and then TMZ was to catch the shot of her leaving the courthouse. If you look at the footage of her leaving the courthouse, you can see that she kind of looks up and looks around. So she's not trying to hide. She doesn't look distraught. She's trying to play very stoic, and she is moving her face about so that towards the camera so they can get the shot.
In fact, you testified that you were, quote, shocked when you saw press when you were leaving the courthouse. Yes?
Yes.
You weren't shocked at all, though, were you?
Incorrect. It was.
You knew the
horrifying.
press would be at the courthouse, right, Ms. Heard?
No.
Well, you did bring your publicist to the courthouse with you on May 27th, 2016, didn't you?
I sure did. I'm a public figure. I brought my publicist in case it blew up. In case. And
You actually
I'm glad
had
I did.
alerted TMZ that you would be filing a TRO against Mr. Depp that very
No,
day,
I did
didn't
not.
you?
No, I did
The
not.
one day you didn't bother to wear makeup to cover up the mark on your face.
I did not call TMZ or any other news source or paparazzi source. No one.
Well,
I
we
never
heard
did that.
testimony from former TMZ employee Morgan Tremaine yesterday, correct?
Did I hear his testimony?
Yes.
Yes, I was here.
Yes. And you heard Mr. Tremaine's testimony that he knew to dispatch the paparazzi to the courthouse on May 27th, right?
I heard him say that he knew that, yes.
Yeah, and that he dispatched paparazzi to the courthouse to capture a picture of an alleged bruise on the right side of your face. Do you remember him saying that?
I remember him saying that.
That information must have come from your team, right, Ms. Heard?
Absolutely not. Why would I want that? What actual survivor of domestic violence wants that?
Now, the video of Mr. Depp beating up some kitchen cabinets, you admit that you took that video, correct?
Yes, I did.
Right. And you acknowledge that the video was released online the day before you were deposed in connection with your divorce from Mr. Depp in August of 2016, right?
I believe it was, yes.
But you testified that you had absolutely nothing to do with the video's release, right?
Absolutely not.
And you testified that you learned about it when you landed after flying into LA. Do you remember that testimony?
Upon touchdown is when I was alerted to the video's
You heard
existence
Mr.
online.
Tremaine testify that about this video as well yesterday, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And you heard Mr. Tremaine testify that TMZ received the cabinet video the same day you landed at LAX. Yes?
I don't know if I don't know if that's what his testimony was. I'm sorry.
You heard Mr. Tremaine testify that the cabinet video was posted 15 minutes after TMZ received it. Yes?
That's what I heard him say.
And that this could only have been possible if the video was received directly from the source. Yes?
I heard him say that. I don't know if that's true or if that's possible because
And
it
you
didn't come
heard
from me. I was
Mr.
flying.
Tremaine
So
testify.
I know that's incorrect is what I mean to say.
Another liar on the stand.
I just know that that's incorrect.
Right. And you heard Mr. Tremaine testify that TMZ owns the copyright to the cabinet video, right?
That's news to me.
The cabinet video you filmed of your then husband. Yes?
The copyright ownership of that is news to me. I learned that yesterday.
It's the cabinet video that you captured of your then husband. Yes?
That is correct. I did capture that video. And
The
yes,
cabinet
that was my
video-
husband.
The same cabinet video that was released the night before you were deposed in your divorce. Yes?
That's correct.
Ms. Hurd, you told this jury that you had no idea the press was going to be at the courthouse when you got your TRO on May 27th, 2016. Do you remember that testimony?
I said I did not have anything to do with it. Yes.
No. My question again. You told this jury that you had no idea that the press was going to be outside after you got the ex-parte TRO on May 27th, 2016. Do you remember that testimony?
I apologize. I must have misunderstood Ms. Vasquez. I actually had no idea whether they were going to be there or not. When I walked into the courtroom that day, it was completely quiet, still, empty. Even though I had given Johnny's team notice that I was filing the
Objection, Your
TRO,
Honor, this is not
we had no
responsive.
reason to
Move to
believe the
strike.
press knew.
And Your Honor.
Another inconsistency is her relationship with James Franco. She made a big deal about Johnny being jealous of James Franco, that this is all in his head. Yet we see in her own notes to her therapist, the therapist, even though she tried to correct herself on the stand, had put that they had gotten close, but she was still in love with Johnny. So there was something kind of going towards romantic in the area with James Franco. And then she's confronted with the elevator footage where she is inviting James up to the penthouse that is Johnny Depp's house, or their house together, but inviting another man to their house while he is away. So that just shows another inconsistent and contradictory story that Amber has told.
Bottom corner, your notes, and it's under the section of your notes that's entitled Intimate Relationships.
Correct.
And one of the notes here on the right, it says JF, that's James Franco, right?
Correct.
Got close but really wanted to be with Johnny.
Well, it says JF friends. They were friends.
All right. Said friends, but you put him under intimate relationship.
Well, there's a line there because I was asking specifically about other things that were allegations in this matter.
There's a line there because you did not believe that they should go under intimate relationships, but it's on your form?
She wasn't telling me that this was an intimate relationship. I queried as to what's going on with James Franco because that was something that was raised in this case.
You changed the locks to the penthouses on May 22nd, 2016.
I attempted to.
That's why you felt comfortable having James Franco over the evening of May 22nd, 2016, Ms. Hurd?
I do not know when James came over.
Okay, let's remind you. Can we please pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 304, which is already in evidence, and play from 254 through 439? Ms. Heard, you just testified that this case has been very hard for you. So let's talk about that and why.
All right.
Your lies have been exposed to the world multiple times, right?
I haven't lied about anything I've been here to say.
You sat here and told this jury that the events in Hicksville started with Mr. Depp getting really upset about a woman leaning on you. Is that correct?
Yes, that's effectively what happened, yeah.
You testified that he actually grabbed that woman's wrist and twisted it, right?
And told her that he could effectively break her wrist by saying he knew how many pounds of pressure, or asking her how many pounds of pressure it took to break a human wrist.
You testified that once you brought Mr. Depp back to your trailer, he trashed it, correct?
That is correct.
And the manager of the Hicksville trailer park was furious that Johnny had wrecked the whole thing. Do you remember that testimony?
That's correct.
Well, we heard from that manager of the Hicksville trailer park, Morgan Knight, on Monday, didn't we?
I'm not quite sure who that guy was or if he had any involvement in this. I know a lot of people have come out of the woodwork to be involved.
So you're accusing Mr. Knight of testifying and committing perjury?
I'm not accusing anyone. I just don't recognize that man.
You heard Mr. Knight testify that it was actually you who was upset with Mr. Depp spending time away from him. Isn't that correct?
How would he know? He wasn't there.
You heard Mr. Knight testify that it was actually you who was yelling at Mr. Depp.
Again, I've heard a lot of people say a lot of things to be involved in the Johnny Depp show, but he wasn't there. He doesn't know. And he certainly doesn't know what happened behind closed doors, like most people.
So you're calling Mr. Knight a liar?
I am saying he wasn't there, and what he testified to doesn't match what I know happened. But I don't fault him. He wasn't there, so how would he know?
He testified he was there, Ms. Heard. Did you hear that?
That's his testimony, yes.
So you're calling him a liar?
I'm just saying he wasn't there.
You heard Mr. Knight testify that the trailer wasn't trashed, and that's why you're calling him a liar.
He testified that a light fixture was broken, similar to the way that
yes,
Johnny's
other than a light
employees
fixture, that
testified
was the
to
only
my
thing that was
closet
broken,
being
right?
rearranged
Ms. Heard,
and things
Ms.
like
Heard,
that.
The only thing that was broken in the trailer, according to Mr. Knight, was a light fixture. Yes or no?
I realized that he summed it up by saying a light fixture was broken, just the way his security guard summed up him trashing my closet as being rearranged.
Your Honor, Mr. Knight also testified that he charged Mr. Depp only $62 for the damaged light fixture. You heard that, correct?
I did.
In Hicksville, you were the only one that was jealous that Mr. Depp was spending time from other people. Isn't that correct, Ms. Heard?
That is incorrect.
In Hicksville, you were the one who was upset that Mr. Depp wasn't giving you enough attention.
Incorrect again.
Other things that prove to be inconsistent are just the photo evidence. You know, Amber says that she has mountains and mountains of evidence, and I believe there's about 1,000 exhibits submitted that all didn't make it into the trial. However, the best that she has shows some redness, a few marks here and there. And this is not to downplay domestic abuse, but these look like maybe if they are some type of bruising, like they're in the healing stages. If she's documenting these injuries, why is she not getting them fresh, where it's dark purple and yellow? These look like bruises that could come from a number of different things. The one where her face is red just looks like she laid on her face somewhere. So we're supposed to believe that Johnny Depp, in a violent rage under the influence of substances, with substances sometimes give people an extra bit of strength there, is pounding her face, beating the back of her head, kneeling at her back, and there's these little marks. It just defies physics. It defies logic. You think, is Johnny Depp fighting like this?
You sat in this courtroom while Officer Sines testified that she saw you the night of May 21, 2016, face to face, and didn't see any injuries on your face. Isn't that correct, Ms. Heard?
I believe she was testifying about these photographs, and she said that I was not injured in them.
Is it your testimony under oath now that Officer Sines testified that she saw injuries on you when she saw you in person on May 21?
Sorry, let me clarify. I was testifying that I know that that's what Officer Sines said, that she didn't consider my red puffy face injured. That's what she said.
The red puffy face, that was your counsel's question, correct?
That was
She
her
said-
testimony in the UK.
That's incorrect, and you know that, Ms. Heard.
I disagree.
It's just inconvenient for you that Officer Sines didn't see injuries on you on May 21, 2016.
It
Isn't
doesn't
that right?
matter what's convenient for me.
Right. Officer Tyler Haddon also testified by deposition about being called to the Eastern Columbia building on May 21, 2016. And he also testified no injuries on your face on May 21, 2016. Isn't that correct?
They both said that they did not consider me injured.
They did not see injuries on your face on May 21, 2016. Isn't that what their testimony was?
What their testimony was is that they did not consider what my face looked like to be injury. They didn't consider what they walked on in the house damage, but it was.
You were sitting here when Officer William Gatlin testified by deposition about being called on May 21 to the Eastern Columbia building, and he also did not observe any injuries on you, did he? And that's what he testified to.
He didn't even know which one I was.
No, I think we all saw on video camera you identify yourself. Isn't that correct?
I had to because of how far away he was. He didn't even know who he was
But
there
after
to
you
see.
identified yourself, he looked at you. Isn't that correct?
From a distance, yes.
And he didn't see any visible injuries either, did he?
I don't know what he saw.
He testified that he didn't see any visible injuries, did
I
he?
would believe that he didn't, yes.
You were also in this courtroom when Alejandro Romero, who worked at the front desk at the Eastern Columbia building, testified about seeing you on May 25th, 2016. Isn't that correct?
That is correct. I think he said the 25th.
Yeah. And Mr. Romero testified that he didn't see any swelling or bruises on your face when you were talking to him at the front desk.
He wouldn't have.
No, he wouldn't have, even though he had a habit, because his parents taught him correctly, to look into someone's eyes when speaking to them. Isn't that correct?
I know that's what he testified to, yes.
In the last day or two of the trial, Camille Vasquez talks to Amber about all the different witnesses that have come forth, from Morgan Knight to Morgan Tremaine. And Amber's response is that basically they're all lying. The manager at the bed and breakfast wasn't even there, even though he is the manager. She says that TMZ has gotten it wrong. She's saying that the officers didn't see what they saw, or that they played off her injury. So basically everybody is lying but Amber, even though these individuals do not have any reason to testify or say what they're saying. So these are only a few of the many inconsistencies that I've noticed. Please comment below what were some of the inconsistencies that you noticed throughout the trial. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share, and of course subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.